today I just wanted to tell you about the time I spent 48 hours in Bolivia. I will preface this by saying when I went to South America, I wanted to see everything. And so a lot of that meant no sleep and overnight buses. I'm so happy I did, and I'm so happy I saw everything. This video will be great if you want to go to Bolivia and see the salt flats in the most minimal time possible, because that's what I did. So I thought I'd wear my llama jacket for this video. Comfiest thing ever, you should definitely buy one. Bolivia is the poorest South American nation in South America. We were going from Santiago to Peru, and so we thought we'll do a layover, a 2-day layover in La Paz and go down and see the salt flats. Not as easy as you think. So the first thing you need to know about Bolivia, or La Paz specifically, which is the capital of Bolivia, is that it has a huge altitude. It is 3,640 meters above sea level. That's really high. That's the highest capital city in the world. Normally what you would do with altitude is try and ascend slowly. We didn't have time for that, and I live at sea level. I live on a beach basically. So we didn't have any time to adapt to the altitude. So we got some pills that you can get medicine from the doctor, and we started taking those before we got there, because you fly into La Paz, you don't catch a bus or anything. So it's literally like you're on the plane that's pressurized and then you're at this altitude. I had chlorophyll, I had lots and lots of water, I had my medicine, I think it was doxycycline, I'm not even sure, I could be making that up. Some medicine, I'll put the name of it here, and then did all the right things and we were fine. We landed at 4 AM, we went to a hotel just because it was 4 AM and we were exhausted because we'd caught a red eye. Well, I loved Bolivia in general so much more than I thought I would. We explored La Paz. It has the witches markets, which is where you buy all of your alpaca or llama goods. So I got a bag. I did all my shopping here. It's very, very cheap. I think most of the stuff costs about $4, give or take. I got a massive duffel bag for about $7. This is what you do souvenir shopping for everyone. There's even witches markets where there's dried alpaca and dried llama and all these little remedies, but I didn't want to mess with that, to be honest. So after we were done at the witches markets, we walked around the town, we checked out one of the churches, and you see all of the traditional women in their little bowler hats and like their outfits, and you Then we headed to this famous street. It's quite hard to find, I'll put a map up, but it's called Jean Street. I'll like put it here because it's in Spanish. And it's like this, because Bolivia is pretty run down because it's poor, but this one street is just like these beautiful buildings and it's very like colonial almost. Yeah, stunning. Worth checking out. Very Instagram. Now Bolivia, they don't speak any English. I learnt more Spanish in that day than I have in my entire life. No English at all, no signs in English. They don't even have supermarkets. I bought bread from a woman on the street who had a sack of bread. Like, it was very rustic, which was, I enjoyed because I really felt like I was really traveling, you know, like I'm not just on a cruise boat. I was like, this is roughing it. This is my Lara Croft dreams, you know. We walked around, tried to find somewhere to eat because there's not too many restaurants. The only ones they have are like touristy. That night we caught a night bus, which was actually, I think, one of the best night's sleep I had in South America. So the seats recline right back, like further than a plane. It's really cushiony, and it was really hot, to be honest. They turned the heating up way too much, so I had to like strip down to like my singlet. They give you a blanket and they give you a hot meal. I think we had a rice dish and something. And they give you coca tea, which is to help with the altitude. You drive into the night basically, and there's a lot of mixed reviews on some of these buses. I'll put the one I used in the comments. I think it was touristic tourism or something. They were 100% legitimate, and I felt safe the entire time, so I 100% recommend them. It cost, I think, $20. So that was so much cheaper than accommodation. Then when I woke up, I was in Ugini, which is where the salt flats kind of start. It's the town on the edge. We got straight off the bus and there was a person there waiting for us to take us to our tour group, which was Red Planet Travel, which they were really great. I will say you can fly directly to New Guinea. However, it costs $400 each way versus a $20 overnight bus. So it was an easy call for me to make. So we went there, we went to our tour place. You can do day tours or multiple day tours. So we did the 1 day tour because we didn't have much time, but you can do up to 3, 4, 5 days. So the first thing we did, we got on our tour, it was just us and this other couple who were Irish and they were lovely. And we went to an abandoned train graveyard. And you just really feel like you remembered you're in South America because there's just no OHS, there's just no safety. You're allowed to climb all over this like rusty train, jump around, take all of the Instagrams you want, it's amazing. And it was, I think it was there from when they were trying to do trade between and they just abandoned it. And it's now a massive tourist attraction, so that's very cool. And then you get in your car and you drive. There's all like air-conditioned jeeps. It was very, very nice. And the weather was amazing. Got really cold at night, got down to like 5 at night, but it was like 20 something in the day. So I was like sweating. And so then we got on the car, we went, and then we finally entered the salt flats and you can see everything go white around you. The salt flats are 10,000 kilometers wide and deep, I think. So it's the largest salt flat in the world and people often get lost. So highly recommend you do not do it on your own. Don't hire a car and think I can do it, because a lot of tourists get lost out there and never come back. And so we went out there and there's this massive salt sign saying Bolivia, and it's got this statue all made out of salt, and so you can get your photo in front of that. And then there's also these flags of the world everywhere, and there was no Australian flag. And I was like, what? There was a New Zealand. What is New Zealand doing there and not Australia? Salty about it. Went into the salt flats and then we went to this really secluded place so there was no one else. And we got to take all of these like cool shots. You can probably see one behind me. This one is us at the salt flats, Daniel holding me tiny. I'll make it bigger. So got to take all of these cool perspective shots out there. It has a hexagon, which is in the wet season. It all gets flooded and it's all full of water, and that's the pattern of the water. And so you see it all rippled around you. It's very beautiful. And the salt flats are very hard. So I was trying to do headstands and do yoga, and I was just terrified of flipping over because it's like huge chunks of rock salt stuck to the ground. Like it's like gravel but on crack, like it's intense. So beautiful, but like you would not be laying down. They served you lunch in this salt hotel, and you can stay in these if you do the multiple day trips. And it was a really nice lunch. Like it was so much more food than we needed. Like, so I definitely felt well fed on this trip. And everything from the chairs and the tables and the walls are all salt. And it was just a very cool experience. And then once you are done with the salt flats, you get in your car and you go to this cactus island. And this one, you had to pay a bit to enter, but everything in Bolivia was so cheap. It was maybe $1. I don't remember. Nothing that it like shocked me. And then it's just this island in the middle of nowhere, and it's just cactuses everywhere. And you get to walk around, and these like 500-year-old cactuses are everywhere, and I've never seen anything like it. You feel like you're on another planet. It's amazing. And then at the end of the day, you're driving back and the sun's setting, and I think I took my favorite photo of all time. And it's just the sun catching all of these ripples at sunset, and our tour guide was giving us champagne or alcohol in a cup. I had and soft drink if you didn't want that, and there was some crisps that you could eat, and it was just like watching the sunset and drinking a wine. It was just such a nice end. And we told our tour guide that we had a night bus back to La Paz, so he knew what time we had to get back, which allowed us like a bit more security and knowing we were going to make our connection. So we went back to the head office of this tour company where our bags were, and then we grabbed our bags, went to the overnight bus place, checked on that, jumped on an overnight bus, and then headed back to La Paz. And that is how you do Bolivia in just 2 days and no sleep. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Have you been to Bolivia? Did you go somewhere else? Did you do the 3-day thing? I think you can see flamingos on the 3-day tour, which sounds amazing. So tell me in the comments below, and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. And next time I think we'll be talking about Machu Picchu. So see you then.